All right, we're good. We're good, girl. So, what's the plans for the weekend? We'll start the podcast in a couple of minutes. What's the plans for the weekend?
Just a few things around the house. One of my goals is to get the house fully renovated. So we're on the last stretch of that. It's
Right.
just tidying up a few ends with it.
Is your man? Is he one of those guys that's like works in the building trade but just doesn't do anything around home?
No, he comes home and he's like, "Let's get shit done.
Oh,
Let's
real?
go."
You're
Doesn't
just
stop.
you're just saying that because you're publicly live and you want him to do more shit.
No, he's actually like he annoys me sometimes because he's just go go go.
That's what you want. They need someone to
It's
match.
good.
They need someone to match your energy, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what I'm really excited about?
What?
I'm trying to move my shoulder. See this? See that little box there?
Oh, the biltong box.
Ah, it's just about ready. It's just about ready. It's been hatching for around it's been hatching for around 3 days, and it's like so good. I just get it there so I can like turn around and just perv on it. It's like watching my meat hang.
Just
So
watch
good.
it.
So good. All right, so let's have a little bit of a looky. What's going on? So we've got Mr. Hey Jimmy, yeah, that was a really really good call as well, Jimmy. So thanks for your participation. Likewise, Benny, how are you, my dude? Jeff's here. Look, all the mastermind people are coming in because I've pre-warned them that your transformation is ridiculously good. So Jimmy, Benny, Jeff, Trent, Lukey Durham, Nick Friend, how are you, boys? Good to have you in here, guys. M. Kelly's here for a little watchy watch. How are you, Ems? Good morning. Who else have we got? Matty Ball. Good morning, Matty. I hope you're well, mate. Hope you're having a good morning, buddy. I spoke to, who was it that I spoke to? Jimmy Skeets. He reckons you're back in action, getting ready to rock and roll, mate. Nicky boy, how are you, legend? Good to see you in here. Hello, Marky Hunter. How are you, my legend? We've got Danny Troutman in here. Geez, you can attract all the boys. You must have a nice milkshake. Is that what they say? Milkshakes brings all the boys to the yard. Love it. Yeah, most amazing transformation. I love it. And this is the first time we've kind of we've pulled it onto here, Em. So I'm excited. Hey, Ducky, how are you, boy? Okay, you ready to rock and roll? Ready to tell your story?
Always.
Thumbs up. Good stuff. Morning, Follywood. How are you, mate? Morning, Erin. How are you? All right, let's do this, guys, on the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast, the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. And today, I've got a really special guest. It's the one, the only Erin Waters. Good morning, Ez. How are you?
Good morning. I'm good.
Look at this, like,
Great.
mirroring of the logos, just like a united team. It's so good, right?
So good.
So, guys, we're going to be getting Erin, soon to be Coach Erin, to have a bit of a talk about her transformation journey. So, obviously, we've had not as many women come on and tell their journey as men, but I did want to bring Erin on the podcast because there's a transformation that's happening both inside and out here that I think is really quite fascinating. Erin, for those that don't know you, why don't we start by kind of going back. How long have you been in our academy for now?
It was July 21 that I signed up and started.
Oh, so we're like literally
So-
just had our 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
Oh, mate, I can't believe I missed it. I feel guilty. Terrible. So, dude, go back. Right, go back to actually, let's ask. Tell us a bit about yourself first. So, married, kids, work, what's the scoop?
So me and Drew are engaged. We've been together about 7 years. We have 2 beautiful kids that are 4 and 6.
Right.
So that's fun. It's a bit crazy at times, but always fun.
And is it true that that we are first cousins or not?
Yes.
It was so weird because like our families are generally like so far apart, so we didn't really see each other too much. But obviously, always remain, family's family, right? And so when you came into the academy, I was just like, kind of like a little bit surprised by how it come about. And then obviously things, a year ago, at least health wise, probably weren't in the best shape. So tell us, where we were at that stage. What was going on?
I mean, after having the kids, I kind of just let myself go. I've always kind of yo-yoed up and down with my weight. Mindset has always been way off. It's never, it's never been great.
Mm.
Yeah, so I kind of just got to the point where we're in lockdown, and I was just sick of feeling depressed and overweight. And I thought weight was my number one goal to start with. I thought that would fix all my problems. Obviously, now I know that that wasn't what was going to fix my problems. But yeah, I'd watched your stuff for so long online, and I was like, oh, I really need to do something. But you kind of get that feeling of, I've tried everything.
Mm.
Is this actually going to work?
Mm. Man, there's so
So that
many
was kind of,
questions I could kind of ask about what you've just said there to start. So, when you said you thought that weight loss was going to fix mindset, like, what do you mean fix? What was wrong with your mindset? Like, what was happening there that you felt needed fixing?
I mean, when I looked in the mirror, I just hated what I saw, and I thought that it was just the weight that was the issue. Like, I really did think that by losing the weight, I would see myself in a better way. Um, but it just wasn't the case.
And how did you realize that it wasn't the case? Because you had to do the mindset work when the weight come off. Like, what? How did you know?
Mm.
How did you come to the understanding that there is an inner journey as well as the outer one?
I think it was probably, I mean, I lost a lot of weight really quickly. And it was just, I was so determined that I just wanted to stick to the plan, and I really just wanted to do it.
Mm.
And I had no other reason not to do it.
Right.
When I did lose a lot of weight, I noticed that I still just didn't feel like that was enough.
Mm.
It was inside my head that, I was like, oh, I still just don't love what I see in the mirror,
Mm. Mm. Totally.
even though I'd lost a lot of weight.
Interesting. So when you said you'd tried a lot of things, like, what is a lot of things? Can you take us through what you'd actually tried to budge the weight initially?
I mean, I've tried pills that the doctor's given me, and yeah, I lost a heap of weight, but I didn't eat. Didn't sleep. I felt terrible. My mood swings were up and down, and as soon as I stopped taking the pills, I stacked it all back on. So then that just created a bad habit in itself, because then it was like, oh, maybe I should just take these pills again, and then I'll just forever be little.
Mm.
I've done the shakes, I've done boot camps, and just never really having that knowledge around nutrition, I guess. You have that thing in your head where you're like, if I eat avocado on toast, I'm being healthy, but just not actually understanding it's not just that. You can eat good foods, but still not actually lose weight.
Dude, I love that so much, the way you've put that. And what you're talking to is this idea that eating clean isn't necessarily what needs to happen to lose weight. They're two totally different things. Yeah, that's a really good point. Back, when you were in the thick of it, say this time last year, how was the weight manifesting in your life as a problem? Like, what challenges was it creating you, if any? Like, what was driving you wanting to lose it? Obviously, you looked in the mirror, you didn't like what you see, but was it impacting you in any other way?
Yeah, it was impacting my relationship. I was just so snappy all the time. It was impacting the kids. I wouldn't want to get out with them. I just wanted to sit and do nothing. So they kind of suffered with that. And, my relationship suffered as well, because I had poor body image. The connection with me and Drew just sort of faded away a little bit.
Mm. Mm. How common do you think that is for women? Obviously, I can't speak on behalf of women, but obviously you talk to your friends and other women. Like, how common do you think it is that what we feel as a self-image perhaps gets played out in our world?
I think it's super common. I just think that it's not spoken about as much.
For what reason? Is it embarrassment? Is it shame?
Maybe.
Is fear of
Yeah.
failure? What is it?
Yeah, I think embarrassment or shame, or, like it's just something that you kind of just hold to yourself. I know for me, I held it to myself. I was like, this is an issue in me, and I didn't want to tell anyone. It was, yeah, definitely embarrassment is probably number one.
Okay. So what gave you the strength initially to get started and moving in your transformation? Because obviously the physical results have been pretty tremendous, but what kind of gave you the strength at least at the start point?
I think I had, obviously, you being my cousin, I had a lot of trust that you weren't just signing me up for something that wasn't going to work.
Okay.
And to be honest, to start with, everything that I do, I start with a heap of excitement and I give it my all, but then I fall off the wagon, a couple of months in.
Mm-hmm.
And it just didn't happen this time.
Why didn't it happen? Because that is a trend which is called shiny object syndrome, and it's the most common thing in the planet. Happens to all people who generally start a transformation. Why didn't it happen this time round?
Because it's sustainable. I didn't have to restrict my diet. I could eat what I wanted within limits, and it wasn't the same as what I'd tried before. It was a lifestyle, not a diet or an exercise program. It's a lifestyle, and I wanted that lifestyle that I have now.
Yeah, listen up to what Erin's just said there, because I think that's a really, really important point. A lot of people get started in trying to solve one element of themselves, be it weight loss or a mindset thing or becoming active in the gym or whatever it is. And they see it as a health kick, and they think that once I do this thing, then that'll solve it. Then I can go back to what I did before, which is the fundamental problem. We've just come off a mastermind call where we were being talking about identity. And to me, what really actually matters is not what you do on a surface level around your nutrition and your training. What actually matters is the shift that you make to your lifestyle, to who you are, to how you feel about yourself. So for you, let's kind of cross off the physical part so we've got a bit of a gravity of what that looks like. Where are you physically compared to where you were? Is it just a weight loss thing that's happened? Like, where are you weight loss wise?
So I've lost about 14 kilos.
Wow. Okay. And you're only like this tall, right?
Yeah.
So that's like, as a percentage of your body weight, that would be upwards of sort of 20 to 30 maybe % of your body weight, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So talk to us about any other physical changes that you feel have happened, like call it non-scale victories like we call them.
I just feel so much more confident in myself.
Nice.
I like what I see in the mirror. I feel strong, and I feel like I would never want to go back to how I felt before.
So we made some physical changes early on. How has it been that has played out into a shift in the deeper stuff, the mindset, the lifestyle? Why are you feeling more self-love now, given that you said you realized that just getting the weight off wouldn't impact that? Like, what's actually happened to cultivate these feelings of worthiness and self-love and better self-image? What's actually happened there, do you think?
Definitely, for starters, it was the community, like inside the women's group. Everyone brings each other up. There's no dragging down. There's no, like, everyone celebrates the wins. It doesn't matter how big or how small. So you start to feel really good with that, outside sort of praise as well. And then you start to tell yourself, oh, maybe, maybe I am actually doing really well. And that was sort of the start. But then getting a little bit deeper into the mindset and understanding that you can change old habits and understanding how our brains work. And I find it super interesting that, we can kind of get so stuck. And then when you do kind of break away from that, you look back at yourself and go, wow, like, how did I not see that before?
Yeah. You become the watcher, right? And so you can sort of distance yourself from being in the thick of it to being able to step out and look at yourself almost like as a third party and just go like, no wonder I was stuck there for such a period, like the way I was going about my stuff. And I think this is a theme for a lot of men and women. We try to battle it on our own. And the problem is with that is that everyone wants to be self-made. Everyone wants to kind of say, put their fork in the ground and say, oh, I did this by myself. But the truth is no one's self-made, right? And if you can, not feel that loneliness and that kind of like, fuck, this is something I have to do as opposed to something I get to do. Like I get to feel healthy. I get to feel energy. I get to feel vital. That's a much different conversation to, I need to lose weight. I have to run this fat off, right? It's kind of negative. And I'm interested, how's the relationship changed with your kids now that you feel better in yourself?
It's changed drastically. Like they are a lot happier. I'm a lot happier. I'm not as snappy towards them. We get out of the house and we do stuff, and it's just a lot easier. It's a lot easier than sitting around the house doing nothing.
Because you feel better about yourself. So prosecuting your role in the world feels like...
Yeah. And they see what I do each day, and they talk about healthy foods and, going for walks and getting exercise and things like that. And it's nice to see that my kids are starting to see that as well at such a young age, because I know that I'm setting them up for, a good future when I'm not able to help them.
Dude, that's amazing. So, Erin, before we move on to kind of the future, what makes you think that, or what gives you confidence that you're not going to slip back and this isn't just a long, shiny object? What is it about this time that makes you feel that you've embodied this new lifestyle?
That's a tough one. I just know that I won't. I just feel inside myself that I never want to feel like that again. And I've just, like I said, the mindset, I've never had the mindset side of it ever before. And I'm very mind strong now, and I just know that I just never will. And there's going to be times where we all, kind of, I don't like to say fall off the wagon, because I feel like you've got to fall down to get back up again and learn.
Yep.
But there's going to be tough times, and I know that. Everyone knows that. But it's just each time you pick yourself up, it gets easier.
Dude, I love that. And if you notice, guys, any delay in Erin's answers, I'll just tell you straight away. She asked for a list of questions prior to coming onto the podcast, and I said, no, let's just wing it. Okay, and so I think she's done really, really well to be able to come on and be honest about her answers and give you her authentic perspective. So what happened was, we've started to realize something about the mission inside Better Body Academy that we are trying to cultivate. And that mission is that we want people who understand the struggle from the inside out. We also want people who are advocates of the process, which involves getting involved in a community and following a simple plan. And Erin's done exactly that. So maybe a month or so ago, we had a brief conversation about potentially Erin moving into a kind of training coach role. Erin, what is it that originally draws you to that idea? Like, why would you want to take on the kind of the kind of helping of other people when you're a busy mom and you've got stuff to do on your own?
I feel like having a purpose and helping other people is something that I've always had inside me, but I've just never had the chance to express that.
Wow.
And knowing what I've been through myself, I'm like, this works. And I see myself from the start to now, and I'm like, I want to help other people feel that way as well.
Wow. To the men that are watching this, that have just come off the mastermind call, we've just been talking about Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, one of which is contribution. We all need to feel like we are giving back in a way and helping other people. It's a fundamental human need. And I think hearing you say that in that context and driving it, you want to now share what you've learned, is absolutely beautiful. It's so good. What character traits or strengths do you feel like you would bring to our mission? Like what things do you think you can kind of that you're good at as a new coach that you feel that you can pass on?
I think number one, that I've been through the program myself, so
Yeah.
I'm relatable. I understand the tough times and I understand how it all works. I think that is the number one, being relatable.
Yeah.
And I've had struggles through life and I've overcome it. So same thing. I think it's just I think number one is relatable, being
Yeah.
relatable. And I have a drive and a passion that I want to help other people. So
good. And I couldn't agree more. I would say the exact same thing, which is why, people like yourself and Travis are just so attractive to our current client base as coaches, because of that relatable. People are attracted to people who know the pain and know the struggles and know the deep difficulties. And one thing that we haven't even talked about here is, on your home life, like, it's not easy. It's just, and we don't need to go into that details, but it's not easy. And if we can leverage pain in a positive way and then use that to then compound into helping other people, like, this is when you start to get up in the morning and you start to feel like you're actually living with some sense of purpose and that you're in alignment with yourself. As you were working, like, you did your certification now to become a fully qualified personal trainer. How does it feel to have ticked that box now and now stepping onto the other side?
it feels amazing. I have never, certification wise, I have signed up to do so many different things and I have never completed anything. I've never actually got the certificate at the end to say, you did this and you completed this.
Wow.
And I was so nervous because I just really wanted it and it was tough, but I did it. And that feels really rewarding that I actually just did it.
Yeah. And I can totally
see
that. Yeah. It's we're always talking about this idea of when you follow through on the things that you say you're going to do, you build self-belief and you build confidence, and that starts to play out into your life. And we've got a bunch of people saying, we're so proud of you, we're so proud of you, we're so proud of you, and it's really, really nice to see. Maybe a final question is, there are going to be, we've got somewhere in the vicinity of 2,000 listeners to the show per month. At least one of them. And that's our kind of motto in Better Body Academy, is to impact one life a day. At least one of them is going to be a woman in a very similar position to you, maybe with a couple of kids, who's just kind of struggling to just like wants to do something, but has this fear of spending money on themselves, which is a big thing for a woman that I've seen. Like, whether it's with us or not, what do you say to that mum as an example that's 33 years old, that's just like stuck? Like, I don't want to coach you to say, yeah.
Reach out. You have nothing to lose at all. Nothing. You have everything to gain, nothing to lose.
Okay, well, I'm going to argue that, and I'm going to say, yes, I do. I've got my money to lose. That's what I've got to lose.
But I know for me, I've wasted money on stuff that hasn't worked. So I just don't think that it's a loss at all. And I think that's because I personally believe in BBA so much that it's an investment. It is not a loss, and it never will be.
Do you think you can put a value on how you feel now versus how you felt back then?
No, zero. It's priceless.
And that, my friends, is the mic drop finish that we're going to leave it on. Guys, look, this is, I think this is a really brave conversation, because it's easy to come on here and like have all the questions lined up and kind of have preformed answers and tell people what they want to hear. But I think today you've heard from someone who is very, very authentic and very down to earth and doesn't sugarcoat things and just spit whatever's on her mind without talking the ears off people. And I think that is a really, really beautiful trait to have. And I think, yes, as we slowly transition you into coming on to becoming a coach, I think you're going to become very likable and certainly following in the steps of Carly and Nikki particularly, which is beautiful. So, guys, thank you. Let's give Ez a little bit of a wrap in the comments. Ez, thanks for coming on the podcast. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Guys, this has been the Better Body Academy podcast. with our special guest star coaching training, the lovely Erin Waters. We're going to see you in the next episode. Have a beautiful, beautiful weekend.